Gareth Southgate is not England's favourite man and the highest paid coach among the Euro 2024 participating teams. Despite being the third manager to take England to a World Cup semi-final, the first manager to take the national team to a Euro final, and the first manager to take the national team to a World Cup final since 1966, he is still not particularly loved by England fans. Gareth Southgate is an English footballer, central defender, coach. He is a former England national team player, participant of 2 European Championships in 1996 and 2000, and 2 World Cups in 1998 and 2002. Head coach of the England national team from September 2016 to July 2024. Born in Watford in 1970, he attended Pound Hill Junior School and Hazelwick School in Crawley, West Sussex. He married Alison Bird in July 1997 at St. Nicholas Church in Worth. The couple have 2 children. Southgate was awarded the Order of the British Empire for services to English soccer on New Year's Eve 2019. In April 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Southgate agreed to a 30% pay cut. England fans are not used to one manager leading the country for too long. The round of 16 match at Euro 2024 was Southgate's 99th as England manager, making him the country's longest-serving manager in half a century. Prior to his appointment as head coach, he had only coached Middlesbrough, where he survived relegation from the Premier League, and the England under-21 national team. Southgate has been well compensated for his time in charge of England, with his annual salary reported to be around £5 million, making him the highest-paid coach at this summer's European Championships, slightly more than the £4.8 million German head coach Julian Nagelsmann receives. If England had won the competition, around £23 million of prize money would have been accumulated, and Southgate was in line for a hefty bonus. Even finishing in second place generated just over £20 million in prize money, an amount that will be partially split equally between the 26 players in the squad, and Southgate and his team will also be compensated for their efforts from that pot of money based on results. Calculating Southgate's actual net worth is difficult. According to 2020 figures, Southgate's net worth was around £9 million, including assets in property and sponsorship deals, with his £5 million a year contract subject to the usual 45% income tax. However, that figure has almost certainly increased over the past 4 years due to his annual salary, compensation for his successes with England at tournaments, and sponsorship deals. In 2017, Southgate did what many top-class footballers and high-profile managers do and set up a company, FHS Promotions Limited, to manage his image rights, of which his wife Alison is also a director. By setting up an image rights company, the player or manager sells his rights to the company itself, and then receives a fee paid directly to the firm by the club or national team for the use of his image rights. This is also beneficial from a tax perspective, as the money received is taxed at the company's 19% rate, rather than the 45% rate that would apply to players through the salary received from the club. For some players, these methods work as a sort of savings account throughout their career before they withdraw the funds later to invest in other areas in later life. Southgate and his wife are also directors of real estate company MAS, Investment Holdings Limited, and the now former England manager also sits on the board of another real estate company, Arundel Property Fund Management Limited, where former England cricket player Alex Stewart is one of the board members. Southgate is also one of many former soccer players and celebrities who have invested in the British film industry through a limited partnership called Inside Track Productions. Taking into account his salary, sponsorship contracts, bonuses, and real estate portfolio, Southgate's net worth has probably nearly doubled since it was last estimated, with the former Aston Villa and Crystal Palace defender able to increase his fortune significantly during his time as England coach given his status and the wealth he has brought in. Did you know that Gareth Southgate lives in a £3 million haunted estate? Southgate bought his luxury estate in Harrogate, North Yorkshire, during his career as a footballer. Back then, he played for Middlesbrough in the central defender position. When I signed for Borough, a friend recommended Harrogate. I went there and I knew straight away that my wife and I really liked it here. We've now lived here longer than anywhere else, Southgate said for the 2019 Welcome to Yorkshire programme. The haunted house, which is about 500 years old, is really impressive. 4 floors, 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a library, a wine cellar, a movie room. In 2013, the couple even put the building up for sale, but 3 years later came to their senses and decided to take it off the market. But in every closet has its skeletons. A little bit of horror. In the 16th century, the owner of the estate was Henry Robinson, a man of questionable moral character. For example, he made his fortune by robbing houses in London when the plague was raging in the city. In Harrogate, Robinson was not particularly welcome, knowing the origin of his wealth. So Henry spent the rest of his life whitening his reputation. Since those days, there has been a legend that the ghost of the owner of the house is desperate to brush off his dirty coins, forever haunted by the memories of those from whom he stole them. Recall, the European champion in soccer became the national team of Spain, snatched the victory in the decisive match from the team of England, 2 for Spain, 1 for England. The Spanish national soccer team won Euro 2024, defeating England in a thrilling final, unable to repeat the triumph of the women's team at Euro 2022. The Spaniards completely dominated the game and deservedly became the continental champions for the 4th time. The resignation of the coach of the English national soccer team did not take long. 2 days after losing their 2nd consecutive European Championship final, Gareth Southgate announced he was leaving. The national team lost to Spain in Berlin on Sunday and lost on penalties to Italy in the Euro 2020 final 3 years ago. I am English and proud of that. Playing for England and coaching the national team has been the honour of a lifetime, Southgate addressed fans and players. But the time for change has come. Spain won the European Soccer Championship for the 4th time. England lost the final for the 2nd consecutive time. Southgate played 102 games with the team, winning 61 and losing 17. At the end of the last Euro, he became the first coach in history to manage not to lose 13 consecutive games at the championship, excluding penalty shootout defeats. However, throughout the tournament, he was criticised for sluggish soccer and unrealised potential of the stars that the England national team is full of. Nevertheless, Southgate's retirement send-off will be lavish and dignified. Despite all the criticism, his successes are undeniable. Over the last 8 years, he has transformed the England men's national team. His contribution is unique and his record is outstanding, said the head of the English Football Association, Mark Bullingham, at his farewell and cited statistics. After 1966, when the England men's national team last won a tournament, the World Cup in this case, its history is divided into 2 clear stages, before Southgate and under him. Before him, in 25 tournaments, it had won away matches 7 times, and in 4 tournaments under him, 9. So he has won more decisive matches in 8 years than everyone else in the previous 50 years, Bullingham said. After the defeat, Gareth Southgate said, "We fought until the very end of the final. I don't think we possessed the ball well enough today. We defended well, but when you take the ball away, you have to get out of the press. We didn't manage to do that. It meant that the opponents had more control of the game, and that could tire us out. Nevertheless, we managed to equalize. We could have scored a second time at the end, but I think Spain was the best team in this tournament. There is definitely a disadvantage in the fact that we had 1 day less to prepare. And still we stayed in the game for 80 minutes. It will actually take us a little bit of time to draw conclusions."